In this video, I'm going to be doing some of the best modifications that I can do to improve the looks and handling of my BMW E82 135i. And how do I know that these are the best modifications that I can do? Well, I've either done them myself before on previous cars, or you guys have just kept pestering me to do them. The first job which we're going to be doing on the car is the new suspension. We have got some brand new coilovers. More specifically, we have Bilstein B14 coilovers. So I've run these on a road car before on my old M135i, and I think these were the best upgrade I ever did. Before I crack open the box and take a proper look, let's get the old crusty suspension off, which I feel like might be a bit of a task. So the manky old suspension needs to be replaced. As I already said, we've got a leaky shock on the rear and 120,000 miles of wear already on this suspension setup. With the brake lines removed from the brackets, I can then undo the pinch bolt which holds the hub to the shock. To make removing this a little bit easier, you can then hammer a chisel into a small gap at the back, which then opens up the hub, making it much easier to slide the shock out. Then up top, there's the top mount bolts to undo, so I think it was 3 13mm if I remember right, and then the top of the shock is free from the car to come out from the bottom. It probably would have been easier just to take that brace off rather than just use a 13mm spanner, but anyway, either way works. Once that was loose, we could then put a bit of weight on the brake disc to bring the arms down and then pull the shock out carefully from inside the wheel arch. And there we have not only one, but 2 sides of suspension removed from the front of the car. So there is the old front suspension removed. Now let's take a look at what's inside the box. So I've got to give a massive thank you to Bilstein, because they have sent me out some gorgeous B14 coilovers for the E82 1 Series, which is not only going to transform the ride and the handling of the car, along with giving adjustability on height, but it's also going to fix the fact that I have a leaky shock on the rear of the car at the moment. So I obviously, as I said earlier, have used these on a car before and cannot rate them enough. They're perfect for the road because, to be honest with you, I don't know how to set up rebound and things like that, so just having height adjustability and Bilstein's kind of preset dampening is perfect for me. Along with that, obviously in the box you're going to get the coilovers to the front and the rear with separate shocks and springs, and also adjusters in there too to replace the full suspension setup for the car. But along with that, I have also got some new drop links for the front and rear, because when we did the turbos, the threads on the drop links were dodgy, so we left them off, and now I can fit these brand new ones which I've got from BMW. I can't bolt these straight up to the car because there's 1 or 2 pieces which we need to transfer off the old ones before we can do so. The first thing being this bracket here, and the second thing being the top mount up here. So let's get those off here, bolt them up to that, and then we can fit those to the car. Using spring compressors to obviously compress the spring, I can then take off the top mount by just buzzing it off with a gun and then transfer that over to the new coilover. Now the ideal way to do this is to use a swan neck spanner and also a Allen key to hold the middle of the strut in place, and then you can tighten the nut on, but the swan neck spanner I had did not fit inside the top mount. So I had to use an impact socket and some mole grips to hold the shock in place, which I know is not the right way of doing it. But with those parts transferred over, we can then start fitting them back up to the car. With the new coilover in place, I can then put the pinch bolt in loosely and use a jack to raise it up easier to get the top mount bolts in too. Once those are tightened up, we can then get back underneath the car, tighten up the pinch bolt, and then start looking at fitting those new drop links. In some scenarios you might want a shorter drop link for your car, but I don't intend on really lowering this too much because it wasn't a million miles off the right sort of height anyway. With everything fastened up, I can then just secure the springs into place. I'm taking a rough guess at whereabouts they need to go, and then we can move on to the rear. This is one of those frustrating cars where you've got to remove pretty much the full rear of the interior to be able to access the top of the shock to be able to remove that. Again, I know this isn't the right tool for the job, but sometimes you've got to make do with what you've got. The rear driver's corner is the side where the damaged shock is, and you can see here that it's leaking fluid absolutely everywhere and definitely needed changing. So after hammering a socket onto that crusty nut, I can then undo the bottom of the shock, and the shock should be free from the car. I'm then also going to undo the bottom of this arm to make removing that spring nice and easy. Back inside the car again, I can take off the nut which I left finger tight on the top of the shock, then I can undo the nut and bolt for the bottom arm, which should then remove the shock and also the spring from the car. In order to fit the adjusters for the coilovers, the cup which holds the top of the spring in place for the standard suspension needs to be removed, but just pulls out pretty easily, and then we can start fitting up that new suspension. Not only does this look much better, but it's also going to handle a fast road driving style much better too, along with giving that height adjustability so we can tune exactly how I want the ride height on each corner of the car to be. But with the final bolts fastened up to secure that rear suspension in place, our brand new Bilstein coilover install is complete. So there we have the Bilstein coilovers fitted on each corner of the car, and as for setup, what I've done is gone for my usual, which is being able to fit a 17mm socket in the gap on the front, and then on the back having the adjusters in but wound all the way down. This is what I tend to go for, is like my starting point, and normally it's about right, but we'll see this time. So the coilovers are now fitted to the car and the wheels are on it, so we can check out that ride height just while I'm lowering it down. Fitting coilovers is always one of those jobs that feels like it should be 5 minutes, but seems to always take forever. Let's check it out and see how it looks. Hopefully the ride height's right, so there's no faffing around. That'd be beautiful. Okay, it looks wicked, but unfortunately it's definitely too low. I mean, check this out. Unfortunately, there's no way I can drive the car like that because it's still on the ramp. Like, I can't even get the ramp out from under it because it wants to go even lower. So I'm going to try bringing the back end up and then see what I think to the front once the back end's at a reasonable height. Once I got the ride height adjusted to just where I wanted it, I could then take the car for tracking, which is super important to do after you've fitted new suspension, but not only that, it still needed doing from when we had the subframe off from doing the turbos. As always, for doing this, I use Tyres and Exhaust Galore in Leicester. They've got a Hunter alignment system, which means they can not only do OEM specs, but they also can tailor it to your specific car too. And now the tracking's sorted, we can take a look at some of the other modifications we've got to do to the car. And these ones are aesthetic, but the car is in much need of a wash, so let's do that very, very quickly. I think it's safe to say the car needed that. It's not been done for about 2 or 3 months now, so that was well deserved. But now we can get on to the next modification. This is a modification I'm surprised you guys haven't been hounding me more about, which is M-style mirror covers, or 1M mirrors, to go on the 1M replica. So these are from a company called Carbon Accents. They are just a replacement mirror cover cap to mimic the style of an M mirror, which costs normally about £600. These for genuine carbon ones cost about 100. You can get gloss black and fake carbon ones, but you know, I think we had to go with the other carbon on the car, so I thought these were the ones to go for. And they just mimic the M3 style one by essentially having that extra branch of the mirror which comes over here to give that kind of two-way connected look. And the instructions, as always, make this look super easy. So they say to pop the trim tool closest to the window and pop that out, which I think I've just done, maybe. There we go. And then to work your way around the cap, breaking off all the clips. Well, hopefully not breaking them anyway. We'll see. We know what I'm like. Hey, there we go. That was nice and quick and easy, wasn't it? So, in theory, the new one should just clip into place. How much better do they look? Much happier with that. It just gives it that bit more aggression. The carbon matches in with the roof, matches in with the steering wheel, matches in all around the car and pops perfectly with that purple. But obviously I would have liked to have the proper 1M mirror, but again, these things come down to cost. The same with the seats, the same with using a fiberglass kit. This, at the end of the day, is not a no expense project. You know, these are a fraction of the cost of a 1M mirror with a carbon cap. I think just the 1M mirror alone is £600, plus then finding a carbon cap for it is going to be even more. So at 100 quid, I'm very, very happy with these. Now onto the one that you guys will not shut up about. Ever since I got this car, every single video, I think there's been multiple comments saying I need to do this. So, well, this one's for you guys. So in this box, we have probably one of the final finishing aesthetic touches to the rear end, at least anyway, and some of you will be very happy to see some facelift rear lights for the 1 Series.
Fine. Nice.
Old lights, new light. You can tell this just looks so much more modern. This looks like it's off an E46, and this looks like it's off a 2 Series, like an F, what are they,
yeah, F20s and stuff.
F20, that sort of thing. It just looks so much better, so fingers crossed it just plugs and plays, but there's only one way to find out. Let's get them on! Right. I've got my 8mm, let's take the old ones out.
Hang on! What are you doing?
Do you know what, you're so right. PPE. Now I'm ready.
That's fair.
What? And then...
Are these going to work, just plugging in and playing?
I don't know. Supposedly, I asked someone online and he said yes. He said they do work.
Was he on a forum?
Sort of. And I feel like forums are all knowing.
And everyone knows everything online.
Yeah, they do. It's like Wikipedia, everything's facts. I've got the Xenon headlights. Supposedly, these don't work out the box. But, because I've got the LED headlights, I think, they do. Maybe.
So why wouldn't they just put them on from stock?
Because they're old, and they like to make them better over time. Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, they just look so much better, don't they? You guys think that I've not been thinking about doing this. I have. It just needs to wait for the right moment. And that right moment's now, so let's get it on.
How much were they, Chris?
Using my eBay discount code, which I haven't got, £271 delivered.
271.
271.
Genuine BMW?
From genuine BMW part.
Brand new.
From Bummerwood.
That's not bad.
It's not too bad at all.
It's not too bad.
Considering the level of upgrade they supply, that looks so much better, doesn't it?
That, in your opinion, it does.
In my opinion, and everyone else's.
There's going to be some people that say it looks horrible.
Here we go, folks. Let's go. Let's see if they work first, and then we're going to just be gassed at how good they look.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to press the brake.
Okay. None of the lights have come on. It's a good start.
I've not put a key in this car.
Yeah, key in. Oh, they're on! They're on! And they look sick. Oh, mate, they look so much better.
Brake.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Indicate.
Oh, he just indicated, no way. Let's show them at home. Let's do some cinematics. Go in.
Let me see.
Cinematics now. We've got some banging upgrades done in this video. We've got some fresh new mirror caps on Carbon the finest, some nice new Bilstein suspension, massive shout out to them, some new drop links fitted, the tracking sorted, and some new rear lights, the LCI ones, the facelift ones that you guys wouldn't stop nagging me to do. And to be honest with you, you were 100% right. I needed to do that. It looks 10 times better, but that's it for this time. Catch you next video. Bye.